Breaking news right now. Bryan Kohberger is now in Pennsylvania State Police custody after being transferred from Monroe County Jail. He made his first public court appearance in Pennsylvania for the murder of 4 University of Idaho students yesterday. He waived extradition and is now headed to Moscow. Right now, we are waiting to learn exactly when he will arrive in Idaho to face 4 first-degree murder charges. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. Now, Kohberger's arrest is definitely welcome news for the families of those 4 victims. And those families are now waiting for him to arrive in Idaho so that he can be formally arrested and charged.
So let's get right to Nicole Hernandez, who is live in Moscow right now as we wait for Kohberger to arrive. Nicole, what do we know about his extradition and the court appearance that happened yesterday? Good morning.
Good morning, Tim. Channing. So we did call Monroe County Correctional over in Pennsylvania. Again, they confirmed that Bryan Kohberger is now in Pennsylvania State Police custody. We're still working to figure out exactly what time that transfer of custody happened. This movement, though, happening less than 24 hours after courts confirmed the extradition process to be started to get Kohberger from Pennsylvania back here to North Idaho. What we know right now is that could be as early as this morning, or he could get here as late as next Friday. We are here at Latah County Jail here in Moscow. We are keeping an eye here on the area as we wait for this to happen. Yesterday, the murder suspect was in Pennsylvania court. The courtroom did not allow cameras inside, but we know he was in the room for about 20 minutes. He waived his right to an extradition hearing, meaning that he just accepted that extradition back here to Idaho. Here's video of deputies escorting him out of the courthouse after his appearance. Now they have 10 days to get the suspect the 2,500 miles from Pennsylvania to here in Idaho. We are also keeping an eye on the jail roster here at Latah County Jail online. At this point, the suspect's name and information is not in that system. In Moscow, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Nicole Hernandez with those breaking details. Thank you. Well, since the quadruple homicide, the victims' families, community, and nation have been waiting to know what happened in the early hours of November 13th. But late yesterday afternoon, KREM 2 learned we are not going to be getting any of those answers from anyone involved with the case. So Moscow police announcing they are no longer allowed to share any information about the investigation because of a judge's order. In that order, it also limits investigators, law enforcement, and attorneys from talking about information in the case that is not public record. This is called a non-dissemination order, and according to documents obtained by KREM 2, it will be in place until a verdict is reached.
Now, we also heard from the Pennsylvania State Police for the first time since Kohberger's arrest. Following the extradition hearing, we finally got some answers. Jack Culkin from our Pennsylvania station has more on how investigators were able to find Kohberger.
Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of killing 4 students from the University of Idaho, will leave Pennsylvania sometime in the next 10 days. He showed up in person to a hearing at the Monroe County Courthouse, where he agreed to be taken back to Idaho.
Arrangements currently are being made to deliver Kohberger back to Idaho, where he can have continued due process and face these charges.
In a news conference following Kohberger's extradition hearing, state police and the Monroe County District Attorney's Office finally answered some questions relating to Kohberger's arrest this past Friday in Chestnut Hill Township.
There was ample probable cause for the issuance of the various warrants in the case. I was surprised, really, Monroe County of all places. It hits close to home.
State police said that they became involved in the investigation after they were contacted by the FBI, but they would not say exactly when they were contacted. They obtained several search warrants before arresting Kohberger in the early morning hours of Friday, December 30th, at his home in the Indian Mountain Lake Estates development.
One was for the person of Mr. Kohberger, one was for the white Elantra vehicle, and one was for the address, the residence itself that he was living in.
Mr. Kohberger was taken into custody without incident. The scene was turned over to the FBI Evidence Response Team for processing.
State police would not say exactly when they became involved in the case. The DA's office got involved sometime after that.
My office's role was relatively recent. We weren't advised of the presence of the defendant in our county until only a couple days before the apprehension of the defendant.
Jack Culkin, News Watch 16, Monroe County.
So we also obtained new police body camera video connecting the suspect to that white Hyundai Elantra police said they were looking for last month.
So in this video, you can actually see the trooper pulling up and approaching the car here. This happened in Indiana again, and troopers say they stopped the car for following too closely. For just a second, you're about to see Bryan Kohberger right there. He's there in that driver's seat. Now, we are keeping the passenger anonymous at this time, but what is important to note is the date on the video. That's December 15th. That's just 8 days after the Moscow Police Department started asking the public for information about a white Hyundai Elantra. Now, this new body camera footage is the second time that law enforcement pulled Kohberger over.
Yeah, actually, on that same day, a deputy from the Hancock County Sheriff's Department stopped him as well. Indiana State Police say the trooper didn't have the information on Kohberger at the time or the license plate number of the car Idaho detectives were looking for. In the body camera footage, we can see the license plate number of the car Kohberger was driving. And in our More to Every Story commitment, we dug deeper and ran that license plate number through an online database. We found out the vehicle was originally registered in Pennsylvania, but on November 18th of this year, the owner re-registered the car in Pullman to get Washington plates. That's actually just 5 days after Kohberger allegedly stabbed all 4 students. So we did reach out to the Washington Department of Licensing to confirm Kohberger is the one who registered to that car. So we haven't heard back yet, but we do know he was the one driving that Elantra in that Indiana State Police body camera footage. And the strides being made in this case come, of course, as the community continues to remember those 4 students whose lives were lost.
Those 4 students were 20-year-old Ethan Chapin, a freshman from Conway, Washington, Xander Kernodle, a junior from Post Falls, Idaho, 21-year-old Madison Mogan, a senior from Coeur d'Alene. Now, Xana and Madison actually worked together at a restaurant in downtown Moscow. And 21-year-old Kaylee Gonsalves. She was a senior from Rathdrum, Idaho, and was a sorority member and had already lined up a job for after graduation. Just a month ago, a vigil was held for the victims where their parents spoke about the love they have for their children.
The world is a darker place without them, but the light of their love and memories will always guide us all. Maddie has truly been a blessing in our lives. Watching her grow and mature into the amazing woman she become is truly priceless in our hearts.
Xana, you will not be forgotten. You have impacted so many lives and have given people so much love. I hope I can make you proud and try to leave an impact on this world and on people like you did.
If you knew Ethan, he was never angry about anything. He would never get upset. You couldn't upset him ever.
We're just heartbroken, and we know it's just going to take time for everybody to heal. If that's possible. I just pray that it is.
Now, of course, this continues to be a developing story, so we will bring you more updates as we learn more. But for all of our previous coverage, you can text us the word Idaho to our number 509-448-2000. We'll send you a link right to your phone with all those details.